There are a lot of different ways that assessment methods can differ between cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. On page 81, it gives the definitions of them, and it says that psychomotor involves the aspects of physical movement and coordination, where it says that affective compromises attitude, beliefs, in the entire spectrum of value and the valuing system. And on page 81, it also says that cognitive is the objectives that deal with and the recall of recognition of knowledge and the development of intellectual abilities and skills. So for cognitive, some ways that would be different would be you would use types of assessment like quizzes, tests, or like worksheet assignments. Where in affective, you would use like a debate or classroom discussion. I would have like each of the children pick a side of the debate that they value, and then they could discuss that their beliefs and everything. Now psychomotor would be more of like a physical assessment, so it'd be something that's physical. I would think that this would be done more in a PE classroom than in a classroom. A teacher that I think about who I believe was a good instructor was my science chemistry teacher. After lessons, like the next day, we would have like 3-question like little quizzes just to test our knowledge and if we comprehended the information from the day before. She would use a lot of other assignments throughout like the lesson in different ways to cover all different types of students' learnings. If we did good, we would get rewards like extra points on the test. So if like we did good on like these little pre-quizzes and stuff like that, like we could use them for extra credit on the test. So that was kind of motivating us to be a good and achievable student. For part 2, I chose the question about what forms of assessment do you plan to use in your future with your future students. I plan to use a lot of different assessments in my classroom because I want to make sure that all students are being covered, and some students might need different type of assessments. But 2 assessments that really stuck out to me are placement and formative. And I'll use both of these in my classroom to test where students are at. With a placement assessment, I would do this as a pretest. So before a lesson, I would give the students a little pretest, and they would take that and they could answer the questions that they knew. And if they didn't know a question or haven't learned that yet, they can star that. That way I would know the areas that my students need more help on or to go over more. With a formative assessment, I would do these throughout the lesson to make sure the students are comprehending the information. I would do this by having quizzes or assignments / worksheets to see if they are understanding the information. And it talks about this on page 183 of our textbook. For part 3, what I consider to be the highlight of this course was probably doing the lesson plans. I feel like I got a lot of information about seeing like what a lesson plan needs to be, what needs to be in it, and how to do a lesson plan. And then something that I enjoyed and kind of was surprising to learn is how valuable that anchor charts are. I have heard about them before, but after like learning about them in this class, I see that they can be very effective for students, because not only will you write them with your students and go over them, you can hang them in the classroom for students to always look back to, and they'll know exactly what you're talking about because you made the anchor chart with them. So I find that to be very beneficial for them.